What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Blazing Toku Moviethon. And we're back for the third movie of our summer glory of the Godzilla-thon. And we don't actually have the movie physically here.
Hi, I'm Stormy. This is Adam.
We don't need to announce ourselves. It's the third week. We shouldn't have to announce.
Because you've been watching every week, right? Right?
Obviously. How do you... What?
Anyway, what have we got today?
We are covering the classic, the Oscar-winning Godzilla -1.
It's a new one.
It literally is new.
Brand new. On Netflix.
First things first.
Go watch it and support it.
Yeah, honestly, if you're gonna... Let's get this out of the way right now. If you have Netflix right now, just go watch it. Right.
It's worth it. It's totally worth your time.
Exactly.
100%.
Unless, like, a timepiece isn't kind of your thing. But honestly, it's a really good movie. Just go watch it. Stop this video. Go back. Go there.
Yeah, watch it first, honestly.
Yeah, watch it before you see us talk about this. We're going to try to remain spoiler-free until near the end, but
we will do our best
when we get to it.
We usually... Look, when we usually do, like, our, like, weekly podcast, we talk spoilers just like the whole time, but like so we'll do our
spoilers.
We will do our best to keep it towards the end. We are sorry if we accidentally let something slip, but hey, go watch it first. You pause the video and went and watched it and came back, right?
But yeah,
right?
We don't have much stuff for it, so we really don't have anything on the table. We just have more Godzilla movies. No inconsequential Godzilla movies.
Totally unrelated.
Yes.
Totally unrelated in this Godzilla Moviethon. Godzilla-thon, if you will.
But yeah, no, this movie actually won an Oscar.
Yes.
I
don't remember what it was for.
Effects. It was either that or, like, I think the music or something. It's sadly
either way, whatever it was, it deserved it.
Exactly. Like, this movie is spectacular.
Wonderful.
Let's get some of our comparison stuff out of the way, but before we do, I want to talk about how long it took us to actually be able to watch this movie.
Oh my god.
It was ridiculous. I hated it, because all of a sudden, like, it came out sometime last year in, like, December or something like that in theaters, and we couldn't go see it because our theaters suck, and we do not do those Fathom events.
We still love the theaters, and we do support them, but, yeah, they didn't get the movies we wanted.
Yeah, we have we're in a small town. We have one theater in our town. One.
Yeah. And it's, like, the only one, like, around.
If we're lucky, we will get re-releases of, like, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. But Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Godzilla, no way.
No, we even had to go, like, way out of town just to watch, like, Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Yeah, we had to go, like, a different, like, 2 counties over.
Something like that, like, just to, like, go and watch. It was so worth it, though. That was so good.
But yeah, no, so we weren't able to watch it because we couldn't get to a theater.
We watched it now, though, and we're here to talk about it.
It took a ridiculously amount of time, though.
Why did it take so long to get into streaming? Why?
There's no Blu-ray release yet, because I imagine Netflix has an exclusive deal or some bullshit.
You know it'll happen eventually, and we'll buy it when it happens. It'll
yeah, exactly.
Like,
this is definitely a Godzilla movie I want to own physically.
I feel like it's almost important.
Well, yeah, but it took so long.
God, yeah.
It got released maybe a month ago.
Especially in this day and age when it feels like something is in theater for like a week and then it's on streaming services, right?
But we will get this right out of the way. This is a very long movie, 2 hours and 5 minutes, which somebody's like, well, something's 2 hours and 2.5 hours. It's like, this movie...
It's dense. This is a densely packed movie. It is like... It cut all of the crap, no bullshit, no fluff or filler whatsoever. It used every second like it was precious, and it was to its benefit, in my opinion. It delivered super well. Is there anything you want to lead into about what to talk about first?
Let's just talk about, like, how it's a time... Do we want to talk about why it's called Godzilla -1 first?
Yeah, sure. Let them know.
Apparently, I am not quite sure, I don't know if this is true or not, if somebody actually in the movie's production has said it, tell me who said it down in the comments, because all I could see is, like, hearsay of just because it's like, oh, because this is supposed to be post-war Japan, so Japan is at 0, so when Godzilla shows up, it's negative, so they're -1.
So, basically, they're so depressed they're in the negatives.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
And this
Wow.
movie
It sounds cool, guys. It sounds cool. Like,
and this movie...
It's usually the only reason you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
and
careful.
Weirdly enough, I feel like this movie is fairly straightforward.
Yes.
Because it is quite literally just... Main character sees Godzilla in his past, has to take on Godzilla later, and Godzilla is defeated in the end.
Basically. It's like, and that's like the most general I think you could get with it.
It feels like the past two we talked about. This feels very Gojira. This feels...
It seems so fitting that we talked about both Gojira, also King of the Monsters, and Shin along with this. It really seems fitting with like these three, and just like, because these feel like really good callbacks to that original movie. And man, like you were talking about, making this like a timepiece set in the time when the original movie came out in
like this the
Gojira.
movie I think takes place in 1947, which is like 6 years before Godzilla 54 would happen, technically. But the fact that it's like this feels and looks very similar to how it looked back then, and it's very interesting. And they did release it in black and white, and I honestly do want to watch it in black and white.
That seems fun.
But
I think we should do that.
But you have to rent it on Amazon Prime for it.
Well, again, that like.
For the
that promise of a Blu-ray, maybe it'll have it.
Exactly, like I'm holding out that is in the Blu-ray because I'm not.
Please.
I'm not gonna pay to rent it. It's stupid.
No. Unless that's the only way you're able to watch it, then go ahead.
And honestly, do you want to talk about Godzilla's design? Which we do get like a Godzillasaurus looking thing too.
Yeah, it looks much more dinosaur. It definitely like. It's not like Shin where you see them like transform or anything, but Godzilla does like start off a little smaller and get bigger in the end. And like the bigger he gets, the more Godzilla like he looks, where it's like
he's thick.
Yeah.
He is a
Sorry, it's summer. It's summer and it's hot in here, so I'm trying to get these little guys out of here.
Don't mind them.
We'll kill them later.
Oh yeah. So, this movie is about pretty much a kamikaze pilot, weirdly enough, who had abandoned, like, being a kamikaze. And this is weirdly a depressing movie that's, like, about PTSD and, like, the costs of war and, like, what it meant and, like, losing and regaining the value of life. And honestly...
It has a lot of really deep, really heavy subjects.
Exactly. And it's, like, also has, like, a found family message and everything else. Like, I honestly... It's one of those movies I feel weirdly odd to talk about because it's almost weirdly basic to say what happens or it's, like, you need to experience the movie itself.
Yeah, I
you know what I mean? It's
that.
like we could tell you, oh, he finds... He comes home and he's disgraced and, like, his neighbor fucking hates him because he...
was supposed like they're going through like they just like this woman, I'm gonna call her, I don't remember the character's name, but I'm gonna call her Auntie for now.
Oh, the aunt, yeah,
the aunt character. And it's like she's just like he's just like looking for his parents who had sent him a letter. Like the whole reason that he even doubted like the whole reason that he had like hesitated, you know, when it came to being a kamikaze fighter, was them asking him to come home alive. And he finally came home, and his home was completely aerated. And this lady's just like, guess what? Because you didn't die, we lost everything. My whole family is dead. My children are dead. It's all your fault. And you think that, like, oh my gosh, like, this lady. But, like, you actually, like, spend a lot of time with so many of these characters, and they really feel like people. Like, you see more of her, and you see her grow, and you see her come to, like, accept all of the trauma that she went through, too. Like, again, like, this is so heavy. Like, the underlying thing that everyone has experienced at this point is some sort of trauma. Whether it be the war, losses regarding that, Godzilla, because this is a Godzilla movie, you know?
And Godzilla is legitimately terrifying.
I have never been so legitimately scared of Godzilla while he has been on screen before.
And he's
the first time I was watching this, I was literally just, this guy actually scared me. He's terrifying.
In the opening, when we see
it's like a serial killer Godzilla. I mean, my goodness. Yeah. We see what this guy does to people when he's tiny.
In the first scene that we see him in, when it's like he's hesitating and going to like the repair shop and then hesitates to shoot Godzilla with this gun, which we never get confirmation of that would have killed him or not. They said that probably will kill him.
It's a big old maybe.
And honestly, for all we know, it could have. Because no matter what, he didn't shoot. Did I almost hit you?
You're getting close.
Okay.
It's fine.
But it's
vigorous hand gestures.
It's so good on how much they use it, especially those water scenes and everything. It's insane because you'll just start seeing those dorsal plates start moving, and it's weird to say it's not a physical suit, but it still felt and looked super good. There were some shots where I was like, okay, your CGI is getting there a little bit. I'm seeing it. But there were also
the parts that mattered, they knew mattered, and they made sure it looked really good.
Yeah.
And it looks like they went practical with, like, a lot of, like, everything that they could, like, when it regards to, like, clothing, sets, props, locations, you know. It really seems like it really made it feel like we were watching, like, just a really well done timepiece, honestly. Also, like, they must have, like, especially, like, when it's, like, oh, like, watching the people driving, like, the train. Do you drive a train? Like, is there a different word for it? But conduct a train.
Yeah.
Like when you see like the people like driving the train, like I'm wondering if like did they like film that in like a museum and it's like maybe like green screen and like it's like an actual old train or something like that. What did they do? I'm really curious. If there's any like behind the scenes stuff, I think like I'd like to watch even some of that.
I want those behind the scenes
Blu-ray, please, please, please and thank you.
And, like, that's the weird thing I want to say about this, where it's like, I don't want to get into the characters or the story that much, because it's very straightforward and everything else, and it's something you should experience for yourself, and I think that's where we can kind of get into these subs.
It's so hard to, oh my gosh, it's so hard to get into the details, too, without also, feeling like we're, like, almost ruining something. Like, I feel like we could just go into depth with, like, God, yeah. Let's just talk about the subbed and dubbed because I want to talk about the performances because I feel like that's what absolutely makes this movie.
Yeah, we watched it in both English and Japanese.
We watched it twice.
So yeah, we watched it twice. And overall, I think the dub is fine. If you can't handle or read subtitles, it is a perfectly good
or if you just
way to watch
if you just like overall prefer dub, perfectly fine. It's perfectly good. I love both of the performances. Do you want to get into it first, or do you want me to?
No, but yeah, I guess I'll go first. I was about to say, I was conflicted.
Were me. Yes.
I was conflicted. I really think, especially when it was our first viewing, I was like, no, I need to watch it in Japanese. Like, it felt like this had such high emotion and seriousness to it. It's like, it's like, it's not that it's bad dubbing. You can still tell the mouth is matching as best as it can, but there's still that limitation that is a disconnect. It's not like animation, to where it's not an actual person's face in something else.
Yeah, or even like a video game, but like things like with animation and video games, it's like, depending on like how the performance is, or even like what language they're speaking, you can tweak the animation. Mm-hmm. Like you can like physically like change it and like make it work, but you just can't do that with live action, which is just like such a hard barrier to cross in the first place. The fact that these people were able to put out such a good performance is commendable. Because I feel like this is like dubbing
sure
on
baby
like
crying is the same.
Yeah, the baby cry is the same, but that's about it.
Which why not?
But I just have to, even though it's just like I'm gonna fully admit I prefer the Japanese performances more. But like just knowing that like this is dubbing on like extremely hard mode.
Exactly.
I will fully acknowledge that, and they did such a good job.
Yeah, and there were some, like, Toku alumni, and I can't remember them off the top of my head, sadly. I should have made sure I remembered that before we came on, but there were some veteran Toku actors. I think the person who played Tachibana was in a couple things. I know the main guy was in a bunch of animes. It's insane.
I think the main, the lead actor, the kamikaze pilot, I think, like, he was, like, a known, like, voice actor for other stuff as well.
No, that's what I was saying. I don't know. I can't remember what he did off the top of my head. I want to say, like, Howl's Moving Castle. He did, like, some Studio Ghibli movie. Mm-hmm. And overall, this movie is super good. Like, it is one of the best.
Do you want to talk about the performances? Like, more in depth or anything? Or
well, when it came to the English performances, they did the best they could. And I think they did a very good job. It didn't feel like the generic Godzilla acting of just like the, oh wow, can you really believe it? It was no King of the Monsters. But now where is my Godzilla -1 cut that says Godzilla plus Martin?
But like the ONE at the end of Martin is highlighted. So
wait, it says Morton. Is it OME?
ONE.
Oh.
1. Plus 1 more to un is like plus 1. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's funny. Yeah. You better laugh at it.
Come on,
you're my husband. You're supposed to laugh at my jokes.
Watching some of those terrifying scenes, I felt like I needed an American to sit back and be like, "This
oh,
is
the
so
humanity! Can you see what's going on? Isn't it crazy?" Even though it's like, yeah, I'm watching it happen.
Which there were newscasters who, much like in the original Gojira, were on top of a building only for Godzilla to collapse it.
No, they were at a tower. They were in like either a radio or a water tower or something in the original. The Steve Martin person in King of the Martins. King of the Martins. King of the Monsters. Just like I love that almost basically just like, no, if you were reporting in a building, it would have gotten knocked over. Like,
yeah.
You would not just be sitting there like, as we see today.
Luckily, I'm far enough away to where I can see him, but he can't see me.
Oh, look at all this detail I can describe from such a far and safe distance away. I'm definitely not getting any sort of radiation, anything.
And like, let's talk. Okay. Do you have anything else you have to say about the dubs?
I haven't really said much, at all, really. But so I was really paying close attention to like certain parts in this, like without giving too much away yet. There are like certain performances that I just thought were just so in the original, and again, like the Japanese performances are all very different because they're actors that are physically in the location acting as those characters. They are like fully immersed in this moment. Something that the dub actors kind of can't do because that's not them.
They're in a box.
They are in boxing words. But God, some of the performances were just so good. Especially like again, like that scene that we were talking about earlier with her like scolding him as he came home for the first time. And this there's like one smaller scene and then like an even bigger scene later where like our main pilot essentially almost has like a panic attack on screen, I guess you could
like
say, or just like an absolute PTSD, like
war trauma.
Yeah, like just like an absolute like wave of trauma overtaking them. And the performances were just so incredibly good. Like you like the voice cracking and like the doubt, the quivering, just like the full immersion in those. I felt so incredibly like pained for these people, like these characters on screen, and it made me emotional even when I was watching the dub. And the only thing that like again like the biggest compliments to these dub actors, because something like a scene like that when you're not in that moment can turn monologue-y so easy on accident because you're not in that moment. But like man, like they were able to capture a lot of those emotions so good. Other performances I actually want to talk about that I think were fantastic in the dub, just as good as it was in the sub version, was, I forget their names, but basically like the fishing crew.
Yeah, the mine crew.
And guys, I have to tell you this, I was so distracted at first when I first saw them, the first time we watched this movie, because I couldn't think of what they reminded me of until I realized that they basically look like the friend group from Like a Dragon, and they almost kind of act like them too, and that made it hysterical to me, and I loved it.
Meanwhile, they didn't come out to beat people.
All those performances were just... That's true. Man, that's a great game.
If you've never played a Like a Dragon game, give it a try. You
it's so like fun. They're long.
I've only ever played Infinite Wealth. We're still playing through it though.
Yeah. Is that the one we're playing right now?
Yeah, that's the one we're playing.
Okay, yeah. That's so fun. We need to get back to it. But unrelated, but like.
Yeah, that just
those performances in particular were just so good. I feel like they nailed it. I forget his name, but the scientist with like the absolutely fabulous hair and the glasses, and I forget his again. I'm so bad at remembering these names. The only one I really remember is Tachibana, but that's because they yelled at it a billion times.
Yeah, they kept yelling Tachibana.
Tachibana-san. But like the guy that was always with him,
those are the only two names
Akiko, yeah, because I had to like be like, what was the baby's name again? what was it? But the guy that's always next to the scientist, he was like the captain.
Yeah. So captain,
scientist, the kid. He's not a kid, he's an adult, but like actually
they call him the kid, so he's the kid.
I have some things to say when it comes to like this kid and like when it regards like the theming of the movie, because I was actually like very like curious about like the reasoning behind certain things in this movie regarding him.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. I imagine.
Yeah, so you done talking about the dubs and stuff?
Sure. Is there anything else you wanted to add, like talking about any of the different characters? Oh,
we'll get to the characters after we talk about the Godzilla scenes, the more important scenes.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Because...
Let's talk about Godzilla.
I'm kidding, by the way. I just thought just talking about them first.
I care about the actual human characters in a Godzilla movie. My God.
Because this movie...
it's doable.
...has also been talked to death. Because obviously, like we said, it came back out in December, so a lot of people got to go see it in theaters. So a lot of people have talked about it.
But we just saw it, and we thought it was good. We wanted to talk about it. Damn it.
And some of these scenes were really cool. We actually, most of them were in the water.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah, he was like in the water most of the time because they were just on their boats
the Odo
and stuff.
Island fight. Then you get the first boat one when he starts attacking again after he gets nuked.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has... Yeah, because then he destroys that battleship. You crush my battleship. Then he goes to Tokyo. Then we get the big Tokyo one. And then we get the final one, which was in the ocean. Yeah. Which was somewhat Tokyo, but then back into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And these scenes made Godzilla so ever terrifying. Mm-hmm. Like, you just see him, and, like, he felt like he looked at you just so he knows to acknowledge he shot you. Like, that's how this Godzilla felt. And, like, it was... Like, how they did his atomic breath was one of the coolest
that was
parts.
So good.
Like, you see the dorsal plates rise up and start igniting the color, and then you see them immediately shoot down as he, like, makes a nuclear mushroom cloud, and just looks at it like, yep, I did that now.
Yeah, like, if Shin was a version of Godzilla, it was like... What's happening to me? This one's just like, I know exactly what I'm doing to you, and I'm gonna fuck you up even more. Like,
and he has, like, weird chicken feet. Like, I don't know why. I kept looking at him, and, like, he has, like,
he's
chicken
little raptor
feet.
hands. Like,
little chicken feet, and then, like, he had his big, strong arm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like he had, like, these big, chunky cheeks, which is something that you don't see a lot in Godzilla anymore, that I'm so happy they brought back his little chubby cheeks.
Yeah.
I love them. I'm so happy they're back.
And... Again, like, as you see, they kept trying to, like, throw mines and stuff into his mouth and everything. Like, it just was so... To see him so regenerate so quick. Like,
oh my God, you see it just...
that thing into his mouth and you just see him reform and be like, oh, fuck you.
Oh, now I'm gonna mess you up.
Now we're going, boys.
Done playing with my food, let's go.
Exactly. So... Let's say, do you have any ideas? What was your favorite Godzilla scene?
That opening scene on the island.
The train scene, though?
The train scene was very, very good. Honestly, every time I think about how terrifying Godzilla is, I think of that first Godzilla scene. Mm-hmm. That really just installed a just insane fear into me. That it's like it was almost like watching Jurassic Park for the first time.
Oh, like the T-Rex scene. It does.
It feels just like that it just roars at you and you just scream your head off. Like,
yeah, it is. He's just so
it's so intimidating. Just such a good way. Ugh.
Where Shin, at least, like you said, we didn't feel like it was like him he didn't know what he was doing.
He's just like a fish that got too big.
And with this one, anytime he would come back on screen, I was like, oh no.
I was like, oh.
What terrible thing are you going to bring today?
How many people are going to die this time? Like.
And that's when we get into the characters.
And God, here's the thing. Like, I feel like I'm emphasizing when he was small. I feel like when it's most visceral, but like I feel like even as he gets bigger, it never loses the brutality. If we're gonna be talking about the Godzilla scenes, I also gotta talk about like when what was the other city that they went to? Was it Hoto or Oto? What was it?
Griza?
Griza?
Which one?
The one where no, after that when he was big, the first city that he attacked
with the train.
No, wait. Yes, with the train. Yes, with the train.
Gearza, I think.
Okay, in that scene,
Gearza?
like,
sorry if I pronounced it wrong.
we're obviously we haven't done it a single time. I imagine.
It went through Tokyo to I think it's
I'm not talking about Tokyo. I'm talking about the one with the train. Okay.
I know. I'm
Focus.
saying it was like in Tokyo Bay, and it went to that area.
Anyway, I'm trying to move on.
Okay, go.
The scenes of, like, it never lost its brutality because even when he was massive, this is also the scene where the reporters die, I think. Just watching him just being at eye level and looking up and seeing how terrifying it truly is. So, like, if, like, Godzilla were real, you would be on the ground looking up. You wouldn't be in these cool, like, aerial shots. Him stepping on people was the next thing I was absolutely going to get on. Like, you see just people running and screaming and just
yeah,
splat.
And he's just casually walking, like, yep, making my way there.
Like, and then, oh god, and just, like, you know, all the buildings falling over and just, like, all the fire and everything. I'm almost sad that they didn't keep the line from Gojira of, like, a lake of fire.
Oh, it's like a sea of fire.
It's like a sea of fire. Like, oh god. And, like, again, when he uses the atomic breath and it just looks like a bomb went off, it just...
It sends people flying.
Oh my god.
It sends a main character flying.
Uh-huh.
We will get to them in a second.
And god, our main character, like, he just basically goes through, like, every
one tragedy after the next.
He goes through, like, every bad thing you could go through, basically. Like,
war.
Like, most of the bad things that could basically happen to you in this movie basically happened to him.
Yeah, and again, you get...
It got pretty dang close.
And you get a really good cast. Again,
all of the acting is just...
Yeah, exactly.
Superb.
Like, I
so
guess
good.
We can't remember its name, but again, we've only watched it 2 times. It's fairly new. But it's like
it's in a language that we don't speak.
Like, exactly, it's in a language we don't speak.
I don't want to be disrespectful and just be like, but so I'm also just really bad at, like, faces and names. That's also just something I'm personally really bad at. So I in particular am probably gonna have to be doing that a lot. I'm sorry.
But, like, at least we can tell you something each about them.
Yeah, I still, like, fully understood, like, them as characters. And I feel like that's the important part.
Well, yeah, and it's like...
Instead of just being like, oh, the girl character, it's just like, oh, no, it's this person that did this, you know?
Yeah.
And the scientist with the hair, like, that should be in a shampoo commercial or a conditioner commercial.
Hair.
Absolutely.
Weapons developed this hair guy.
That hair is a weapon that he developed. Oh my god.
I don't think we're into the weird scientific, because I know some people find bullshit with the science.
Whatever. I just think it was creative and
giant
fun.
Lizard movie. Whatever. The way they
tried
fun
to kill
Godzilla in this one, cool.
I just thought it was fun.
I think it worked fine. I thought the scene was awesome. I think it worked out.
You know, it's funny. I was talking with you about this, but, like, how many movies is the Oxygen Destroyer in? And it turns out we think it's about 3. We didn't look super deep into it. It was just kind of...
games.
Yeah, we're not counting games, like movies.
Or
shows. I'm realizing, out of all of the movies that are left, how many does Godzilla die?
A lot.
Now, I know a lot of them probably, but it's like, oh, I wonder, like, what are the things that have killed Godzilla in the past? I just felt like this one was fun because it harpens back because it relies on science. Even if science doesn't technically work, it seems like it should. It seems like it, which is close enough for me, honestly. The fact that I, like...
His face at the end of it, when you see him, like, look like he's like... It's gross. And
do you want to talk about some of the characters or something?
But yeah,
next?
no, like, to get to the characters, it has a really fun cast. Again, you get this man who is broken, just try to get through his life and find new meaning. But you also still see...
You're talking about the main character, I imagine, right?
the kamikaze pilot. Like, you see he's a well-rounded man, and, like, immediately one of the first scenes is him rebuilding his house and doing all this, and he's just in, like, a village
I feel
square.
like we should maybe talk a little bit about, like, the island scene, at least a little bit. Like...
Okay, wait. What do we need to talk about the island scene for that's that important to what I'm talking about right now?
Oh, I mean, I just thought, like how, like... We were talking about how we kind of understand all of the positions of, like, because Tachibana is also important for later as well. And, like, these people that die, like, affect him throughout the entire movie. Is kind of why I thought I should bring it up, because one of the things we were talking about is, like, we kind of can't blame any of the characters for acting the way that they do, because the one guy, like, when he hesitates in fulfilling his duty, his honorable duty or whatever, like, this guy, like, most of the people kind of, like, or like have like the reaction that the auntie did of just like, you're a disgrace, or like, ew, you know.
Well, no,
but
not everyone.
And not everyone, but like one of the people that did believe in him and came up to him was just like, I'm on your side. I feel like we shouldn't treat lives like they're nothing. And like,
it was Tachibana.
Was Tachibana, and like again, Godzilla arrives, makes everyone shit their pants.
Yeah, he's like, literally, we're mechanics. You're the only one who knows how to work that plane's guns.
And he gets so scared that he can't, and like, it's like you would want to be mad at him, but at the same time, it's just like you would be no better in that situation, and you can't really blame Tachibana, the like one other survivor of this tragedy, for being like super pissed at him because he's like, dude, we were relying on you. So it's like you understand both sides of this argument. You got us all killed, and then thinking about all of like the guilt and knowing that he was scared and all the things that he's carrying with him after this.
Tachibana, before he leaves on the boat to go home, he hands him a thing of all the pictures of them and their families
that they had on them.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad, and it's something you see.
Like, he's like, you remember what you did. You remember these people.
Yeah, you can never forget. And like, you even hear him say, he's like, they're haunting me, they're taunting me.
They're like, come and join us or something. Like why haven't you died yet? Like, just really messed
even,
up
like,
stuff.
He even says his parents and stuff. It's terrifying and sad. But then, like, you still see he has good morals because this woman, well, I think she stole something, literally runs up to him, throws a baby at him.
When he, like, already finds out that his parents are dead, and basically the town that he probably grew up in is just gone.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just like, and yeah, so he gets thrusted upon this baby, and he's just waiting for her to get back, and, like, he goes to leave her.
He tries to leave the baby, but he just can't.
He's just like, I can't leave the baby.
So he goes to take the baby. And then as he's leaving, she's just like, jeez, it took you long enough. And then she is just like, well, this guy has morals, so I guess I can allow myself to be around him so I can maybe get some sleep.
Just sleeps on his couch once, and then they
never leaves. She basically taunts him. Like, she's just like, hey, I'm going to stay over for the night, and then just never left.
Exactly. She's like, and all of a sudden I like how, like, even, like, his neighbor was just like, you could have kicked him out, but you're not going to do that.
And it turns out that baby isn't even hers. Like,
yeah,
the baby's mother...
another person who was dying and just being like, please, save my baby.
Yeah, the mother was just like, oh my gosh, please just save my baby, let my baby live. And she's just like, I mean, you couldn't leave her. How could I? Exactly. We both have morals. Like, we're both, like, not terrible people, so...
Exactly, and you get to see her grow and change and see.
And man, like, there are so many like year
this
gaps
movie has
too.
Time jumps.
Yeah, there's like so many time jumps in like really good ways,
like this
showing the progression of like all of like the relationships. Okay, where are these characters at? And they feel like naturally progressing, but without dragging. Again, like they used every second like it was precious and well done. Like, and you see the kid grow at like, and they see the kid grow too. Like,
yeah, we go from like 1943 to 1946. Like, that's, like, the big...
And this is where we meet all of, like, our fun boat people.
Well, yeah,
I'm not saying a whole lot about...
Because, like, they're like, we don't want this baby to die of malnourishment. Because obviously she doesn't have, like, breast milk or anything, so they're like, the baby's gonna die.
Yeah, and the auntie character, you know, steps in and she...
gives the money.
No, she does... She also, like, breastfeeds for them because she lost her kids, so she still has, like, milk, but that she can provide the baby with.
Was that what she was doing?
Yes, she was breastfeeding for them. Or at least I thought she was. She also gave them rice to make gruel for the baby.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I thought that's what happened. Like
I don't
I thought that was like the whole thing.
I have no idea because I know.
Either way, she helped them keep the baby alive.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I could completely be wrong. I didn't realize this was something maybe only I picked up on, but
maybe I didn't pick up on. Maybe
maybe we're both nuts. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
I can see some. Now I feel embarrassed. Like I'm gonna have so many people like giving me like the most bombastic side eye. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? If I'm wrong, oh my god.
And or me being like, "Oh, look at this idiot! Couldn't even pick up fucking."
Either way, one of us is screwed. So.
But yeah, that's when we meet the boat. We get the captain. We get the.
And he thinks it's gonna be like the because he takes this job because it pays high because there's like danger with it because they're collecting unexploded mines or like exploding leftover mines. So he's like, don't worry, it's like a big special boat. It's like a fucking like wooden boat, and he's like, the hell's this piece of shit?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, nah, it's wood because they're magnetic.
Metallic mines, so no, they kind of can't do that.
They're magnetic.
Yeah, magnetic mines.
They're magnetic mines.
And they're like, well, so we can't use metal boats to do it. So I'm like, okay. And you pretty much get to see him, like, get gunned. And,
Yeah, there's, like, this
these
big...
people become his friends and everything else.
Like... Yeah, they big gun on the back, and it's actually, like, I want to shout out really clever the fact that they correlate the fact that he's able to shoot really good because he's used to shooting on planes, and it's like the waves, and you're
waves, and
like, oh, you have to account for it. I'm just like, that's so clever to bring up, like, because that would be totally true.
And again, like, you see these are people he's constantly worked with for years.
Yeah, and oh my god, and the kid. This is a great time to, like, start bringing up the kid, I feel.
Yeah, you want to bring him up.
Because he is, like, I never got to see war, and he has that kind of, like, bright-eyed, like, I wanted to fight for my country, you know.
I wanted to do the right thing.
Yeah, and just like, oh man, I almost wish it would have gone on just a little longer so I could have joined. And this guy just, don't you ever say that again. And I'm just like, I agree.
He's gonna kill you.
Yeah, and that kid just, like, shitting bricks.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And, I mean, he's right. He's like, you shouldn't say that. But, like, this is a reoccurring thing that pops up with him. It's just, like, the fact that he wasn't able to join the war, and, you know...
He wants to feel like he's doing something.
Exactly.
And it's something understandable.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about the scientists. All of these guys, I think, were in the war except for him. Like, except for the kid. Like one of them was, like, an engineer of sorts. The scientist, I can't remember exactly what kind.
He was in weapons development.
Yeah,
but,
something like that.
But, like, here's the thing I will say. It's like, there's not much to say outside of the captain, where it's like, he's just a good guy trying to help
people. He has, like, just such a good personality.
Again, yeah, like, this has a good and fun cast. Like, I feel like there's not much for us to say about
It's such good vibes. And, like, you know, they tease him about, like, not dating this girl that's lived with him for 2 years that they think is his wife.
Yeah, they were like, literally, that's your baby, right? They're like, no, that's not. They're literally like, you have this found family thing. That's amazing.
Dude, and then, like, in the scene where she calls him daddy, and he's like, I told you, sweetie, I'm not your daddy. And they're like, hey.
You can't do that.
No. Bad. You do not get to say that to a kid.
All three of them were mad
Yeah, they were like, bullshit. You do not say that to her.
Yeah, obviously, he gets throughout that year, because the next year she is just
I need friends like these guys. I need people.
Yeah, these guys, like, again, it's so good.
The vibes are just on point with them.
All right.
They're like the friends that you say really deep shit to at sleepovers at 3 a.m.
All right. I feel like we've gone in long enough. I think we should start winding this down. So I think we should start talking about this.
Now that, like, we're kind of getting into, like, we've talked about, like, the characters and the story and the build-up. It's time to talk spoilers, I'd say. Last chance, guys.
So.
Goodbye.
One of the most high-tension things that happened in this movie was that Godzilla attack. When he did that atomic breath.
The one with the train.
The love interest, let's call her. I can't remember her name. I feel really bad.
Oh, God. I feel like I remembered it not even that long ago.
Nariko? I think it's Nariko.
Something very similar, if not.
She gets swooshed away.
Obliterated.
I was like, there's no way she's surviving that, but I felt like I had such that anxiety moment of, like, just, because you see him winding up for it, just like, get into the alley!
I fully thought,
just go!
Go, yeah, and, like, you were so fucking pissed the first time we were watching that, because you're like, why didn't you just, like, jump with him?
Yeah, because exactly.
And then, like, the trauma afterwards of him just, like, screaming, and then, like, the black ash rain just, like, oh.
Exactly, it was terrible.
And he had the protagonist's head bandaged, too.
And it's time for us to talk about, like, the one thing I think we can all say is dicey.
The last couple of minutes, the very ending of this movie, the contention of Tachibana has put a bomb into the plane
that's not what's contentious. That's, like, honestly,
I guess
the whole message that he gives there about living onward for the kamikaze pilot.
I was just trying to give a build up to what was going on.
I know, but it's like,
I guess at this point, like, we've said spoilers, so you've seen it, I guess, so.
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't think that's the important part. It's the ending part of getting, I guess you could say, the super happy ending to where he does decide to live. He's going home to Akiko. A wonderful, beautiful moment. And
that's where you feel like it should have ended.
I really do. But then you see that this letter comes in, and you find out Nariko's alive. And I'm okay to a point with this. Like I said, I didn't think she could survive. But then they end it with her having a weird Godzilla thing on her neck.
Radiation?
Like, it's
question
not radiation
mark?
poison.
Godzilla something?
Yeah, does she have Godzilla disease?
Godzilla sickness. Sickness.
And honestly, yeah, like you said, the ending with Godzilla, with the kamikaze, And just, like, seeing him fall apart was so insane.
Yeah, I was just basically saying, though, he was gonna decide to live, was what I was building up to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kinda got into it. Got emotional. The ending makes me feel things.
Yeah, I know. But,
But yeah, like, what do you have to say about it? When it comes to the ending?
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Had to think about it for a second. But, I actually kind of weirdly like the ending when it comes to, like, the fact that she was alive in the end. I have my own reasonings as well, though. Because I feel like the whole message that they have with this movie, and I feel like there's, like, I have the supporting thing with, like, the kid character of this, of the whole message of this movie is choose to live. All you need is one person that wants you to live, and this movie looks you in the eyes and says, and I'm saying it to you, I want you to live. I'm also saying that to you, I want you to live. Of just, like, because I feel like the whole thing, like, with the kamikaze thing and just, like, the absolute trauma that all of these people are going through, and specifically him, there is, like, a little bit of, like, almost, like, you know, a self-harm part of it, which I won't get into here because YouTube, but, I feel like it's just, like, you deserve to live. It is, like, every life is precious, and you should never have to risk your life if you don't have to, because your life is precious. And I feel like that's what they say with the kid of just, like, he wanted to go to war. He wanted to be a part of it, but he didn't have to. And they're like, not being a part of a war is something to be proud of. And also just, like, choosing to live and being rewarded with the fact that he chose to live. Therefore, he wouldn't have seen the good things around the corner that were coming to him is more of what I kind of saw with that in a way. So that's why I kind of am good with, like, the super happy ending, because I feel like it is kind of like a deserved reward for making that decision and working hard for that decision. That's my take on it.
But how do you feel with the Godzilla disease?
Yeah, about the last 30 seconds is where I start to not like it a little bit. I gotta admit, the whole thing with, like, I think you can kind of agree with me at this point of, like, the Godzilla disease and also Godzilla living in the end.
Yeah, like, just seeing him pulsate. Why do you need to have another, like, sequel tweet tease that probably will never happen?
Yeah, it's just, like,
Shin Godzilla
it doesn't need
that didn't happen, but
it doesn't
at least
need
that
a
was more
sequel.
effective.
It doesn't need a sequel.
No,
It doesn't need to
exactly...
bait a sequel that doesn't need to happen. This is a perfectly good contained story, and
no, but exactly.
It's just like, and everything that I just said with her living in the end kind of gets negated a little bit of just, like, this wishy-washiness of just, do you want the good ending or do you want a bad ending? You know, just like, oh, you decided to live, you get your happy ending, but I guess it's not over yet. She might also keep dying, but you might be sad again, I guess. But it's like, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, Godzilla's alive, he's probably gonna wreck your shit anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things to where it's like...
They didn't know, hello, we have a guest for the last part of this.
So good. It has everything I think Shin Godzilla was
fine.
missing.
She's fine.
Okay.
She's fine. She's here for the last bit of this.
Okay. Our dog is here.
This is Maggie. Say hello.
Okay.
She loves him a lot.
But we have the last thing to really talk about is comparing it to the
Gojira?
I'm out.
Maggie has turned into Moviethon.
Very marketable.
Anyway, so comparing it to the other movies, right?
Yeah, so comparing this to Gojira, Shin Godzilla. No, okay, we're not comparing it to King of the Monsters.
Again, like, I almost want to make, like, a fake movie poster.
Godzilla -1 English dub.
Do I need to make, like, a fake movie poster for that or
I'm
something?
about to say, I'm not willing to do
It's just
that
our
because I
personal
feel
life.
like it would be an insult.
Oh god, I almost want to do it because it's so ridiculously bad that it would never happen, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I want that to actually exist. So
because this
that would ruin it. That would ruin the movie.
Yeah, because this movie has everything I think Shin Godzilla did really well, but has the good, really, really good characters. Like, I'm invested. I like them.
They're the highlight of the movie. Honestly, they're the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these human-like characters. Like, honestly, I think I'd put this one over Shin, but I don't think I'd put it over Gojira. Gojira is a
I
classic.
don't know how I feel about it compared to Gojira, because I almost feel like that's not fair, but I think I can pretty confidently say I prefer this over Shin.
Which is saying a lot, because we really do like that movie.
I know, but it's just like, I don't know, like, I loved... the time periodness of this, I think, is like what I liked about it. Like, I feel like it was just like the perfect little spice that it needed. I don't know. That might just be my taste, though.
It's just what it needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it honestly feels like everything like Shin Godzilla walked so -1 could run.
Yeah.
Is how it feels to me in a way. And it is just really good. Like, I think we're going to have to sit with it a little bit longer to see if it will ever surpass Gojira.
I feel like that's almost not fair to say, though.
Yeah.
Like, I totally agree with you of just, like, on, like, a personal level, but, like, I mean, that's a classic.
But you have to
that's
give
a classic
at least
for a
all
reason,
three of
too.
them at least a watch.
Oh my god, all three of those movies, absolutely. Especially, I mean, like, I feel like those movies can be, like, if you've only ever seen, like, those 3 movies... Like, and you're just like, I only really like those 3 movies. I'm a Godzilla fan. I'd be like, I won't argue with you. Like,
yeah.
I understand, yeah.
Like, this is a really excellent movie. Like, I don't know what in the Moviethon might be able to beat it and Gojira in it, outside of maybe one movie I think we're doing. But, I don't know. What are your final thoughts, like, outside of 2 thumbs up?
3 thumbs up. 4. More thumbs. I don't have enough thumbs.
Radioactivity. You've gained extra arms for extra thumbs.
It's the radiation.
The Godzilla disease.
Oh,
it's like the Goblin disease from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh gosh.
Oh god, that was a movie.
I just see it just turns to black and white.
Could be worse. Could be Madam Web.
Oh god.
We're not getting into that. We're just moving on.
No, don't bring that up.
So, overall, this was another great one.
Yes.
Like, we have been doing, obviously, absolute bangers week after week.
If you're not a Godzilla fan, I think you would also like it.
Yeah, if you're
not typically a Godzilla fan, I think you would like this.
Yeah, honestly, I could... Again, this is a movie that's...
It's a good entry.
It won an Oscar for a reason. Just go watch it.
Yeah, like... Again, like, if you need a good introduction to Godzilla movies, this is a solid entry point. It's a long one, but it's worth it. Like, and again, I feel like maybe the ending is, like, gives it the spice that it needs to spark conversation between people, I guess you could say, as a positive.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, which part of the ending did you not like? Do you like, what part did you like, you know? Like, the rest was great, though, right?
Well, yeah, and it's like that's the thing I can say. I'm like, I have my nitpicks with the ending, but that's what I will say. They are simply nitpicks. They're not like, oh, how could a movie fucking do this? It's just like...
Even if you don't like the ending, like, I viscerally did not like those, like, last 2, like, again, like, that last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, just seeing Godzilla
I still, like,
alive.
I'm like, this is a fantastic movie. Like, absolute fucking masterpiece. Absolutely loved it. Like, the fact that I didn't like the ending and it didn't ruin it for me. Like, usually, like, I'm the kind of person, if I really don't like an ending, it can ruin the whole movie for me, but it didn't do that. And that's kind of impressive, knowing my own taste and personality.
Yeah, it is. But overall, it is a must-see. And... yeah, like, what are your guys' thoughts? Like we said, I know everyone a few months ago was already talking about -1, how good -1 is, how you need to watch -1, and they're all right. You should watch -1. And...
I wouldn't say it's overhyped. I feel like this is one of those movies...
Netflix, just watch it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
But yeah, tell us down in the comments, what was your favorite scene? What do you guys think? Do you think Godzilla should remain more terrifying, or do you think he should go goofier next movie?
Did you absolutely hate it? Tell me why!
Or maybe you didn't. Who knows?
Probably not. It's really good.
Comments.
Tell us how wrong we are.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't. I'm sensitive.
But I guess that's it. Do you have anything really else? This is a pretty long.
No, it's a
one.
fucking good movie. Go watch it. It's a good movie and go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. So, I guess.
Thank you for listening. We probably talk for a long fucking time.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
Bye.
Should we say goodbye?
Next week?
What are we doing next week? Do we have someone to tell us?
So, since neither of us know what we're doing next week, you know who we have to call.
Is it time?
It is time.
Is he here?
Well, not in reality. He's gonna edit himself in, but he'll be over there.
Ah!
Oh God!
Ah!
Everything. Now you're right behind us. No. Bye. Till next week.
I'm back, and I'm here to tell you next week's movie is Godzilla. Huh, that's surely an original title. Whatever. Till next week.